Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. I am collecting madness. There's always madness in love, and we love collecting. Woohoo, guys, I got another treat here for you today. We have none other than Marty McFly and Einstein from Back to the Future. I do want to say, if you are new here, please consider subscribing to the channel. We have a goal of 750, and if you want to join in all the fun and all this madness, please hit that subscribe button. But for this episode, we're going back to the future. Alright guys, so here we have the front of the box. It is a little bit like Doc's, except for some reason Doc's didn't have him. It had more of the DeLorean, but here we see Marty with the DeLorean and the flame effect going. Before we dive too deep into this, I do want to say a massive shout out to my buddy Connor, aka Hot Toys Hotline, for sending me this on Sideshow. I guess they had warehouse finds, and I was able to pick one up brand new. I missed the initial release of this guy, so I'm super excited to have him in the collection, and I'm super happy that it will be coming with Einstein, which we will check later on in the video. You can see more of this glossy print here on the side, boring stuff on the back, same thing on the side, and all of this is raised. You can see Hot Toys there on the side, and then you can feel a little bit of texture. It's also reflective. Lifting off this, you can see the beautiful slip cover of the DeLorean. Now guys, I don't want to spoil anything, but my DeLorean should be here shortly, and that will be on the channel. So if you're excited for more Back to the Future stuff, don't worry, it's coming. You got more of those dates here like you would see inside the DeLorean. And then there we have Marty McFly and Einstein himself in the clamshell. Now what we're going to do is take everything out, see all those accessories. I'm sure it's jam-packed with a lot. And then we'll go ahead and look at these two iconic figures. Alright guys, so here's all his stuff. It's not too much, but it is cool nonetheless. And we will start from the left and go on over. Starting off with the skateboard. I wanted to start off with the skateboard because it's just a piece of plastic. Now, I'm used to like tech decks and stuff like that, and I know you can get real wood, you can get real grip tape, trucks. I used to skate back in the day, so Hot Toys, they could have stepped this up. But on a positive note, you will see the dirt and grime on the wheels. There is a bit on the trucks as well, and the grip tape does have some effects on it as well. So I'm not that disappointed. It is a little roughed on the edge here, as well as this, like it's been written. So it does do the job that it's supposed to, of a convincing effect of being a skateboard. And the bolts here, the screws, are painted in a metallic. I don't know if they're actually metallic. If so, that would be the only thing that would be on here. Moving on to his backpack. It is a real working zipper. I don't think there's anything in it besides foam just to fill it up. So you could put something in there to carry if you so wanted to. Now I am going to complain here on the pleather. I have a Hot Toys Spider-Man, the TASM 2 figure, and that just flaked. And I know these bags are very prone to flaking. You can see it's still strapped here. But as we go on throughout the video, you will see that I will undo that, and he'll probably be wearing it. But it's all fabric straps. This feels like a nylon strap. It's very soft material. Actually feels like a backpack in miniature form. Then we have a very important piece. It is the newspaper where they saved the clock tower, or it's, you know, they didn't save the clock tower. The clock tower was struck by lightning, but basically it was like a petition to save the clock tower. I believe it was going to be torn down or something, and the reason it was struck, if you watch, it ends up being in part 2, part 1, stuff like that. And then the writing of the phone number from Marty's girlfriend there on the back. Pretty cool accessory nonetheless. Would be cool to put in the display. We then have a little watch here. This is tiny, and they got a piece of foam here in it that can go around his wrist, and you can cover the wrist peg. I wish maybe there was some detail on it. You can make out tiny little buttons and what looks like a rubber strap and how it clips together, but just basic. And I kind of like these, if you've heard me say in other figures, because they do cover the wrist pegs to make it a little bit more realistic. You then have his Walkman, you know, little cassette tape player with some headphones. It does stretch out. I think the wire is posable, so if you wanted it like that, you could. You want it stretched out, it will stay. Don't pull too hard. Obviously, you can probably break this very, very easily. There is no foam padding here on the ears, but I guess it's supposed to make it look like it is. And then the rest is just sculpted plastic with some silver paint at the top. As for the cassette player itself, it does have some red detail, and it has the, play, pause, reverse buttons and stuff like that. And yeah, it just does a good job of looking metallic and plasticky, and a little bit of glass there on the front. So pretty basic itself. You then have another important part where they're filming the DeLorean. At least Marty is, to record Doc giving his whole spiel on, building a time machine. Right before those terrorists came after them, you can see the little lens effect. I think that's pretty cool. It looks red and purplish at certain angles to make it look like a real film. You got a fabric strap here, which this might be pleather or sculpted. It just feels like pleather. You get some more buttons here on the camera. This is a little plastic piece with flexibility, so you can get his hand in there. Some more of that lens look, and then they even did the underneath in some weathering and stuff like that as well. Now let's talk about hands. We got some hands, to hold newspaper, maybe to hold the Walkman or the cassette player, an open palm hand to reach out, camera holding hand, probably another camera holding hand, and then some, gripping hands for grabbing other things, maybe a skateboard, maybe his bag, whatever you want to do when you pose up your Marty. And then we get the infamous old school, but, came back for this feature, is the display base does say Back to the Future on the front. It is a little bit reflective, and then Marty McFly right there on the front. Now, one thing I do wish they did, like they did in the Star Wars set with Leia and Wicket, I wish they kind of had Einstein on here, or he had his own stand. That would have been cool, but nothing too much to nitpick. If you know who Marty McFly is, if you know who Doc Brown is, you probably more than likely know who Einstein is as well. And speaking of the little dog himself, here is Einstein. If you have the Doc Brown, you can attach the stopwatch around his collar. I believe that's why there's a seam line. He doesn't move much. It does kind of jiggle back and forth, but I don't think there was any reason to have this. It is a little bit unsightly, but I'm still happy nonetheless of how he looks. I feel like the white on his chest doesn't fully line up with the neck over here, so that throws it off a little bit more. But other than that, he is fantastic. His nose looks a little wet, the eyes are glossy, the hair looks nicely sculpted to me, and he's actually heavier than I thought he would be. He's more of like a plasticky resin kind of feel. Even on the bottom, they have the detail of his little feet there, like his paw pads and stuff. I'm just super glad they didn't include but we don't know what detail Hot Toys is willing to do and what they won't do, but enough about that. Then you get his little bushy tail here, some more coloring, and just how the hair splits. I've seen them sculpt, hair before, especially on figures. I think they could have been a little bit more finer, but to be honest, I'm happy with this. I really, really like this, and all he's going to do is sit in the display anyway, just like a good boy. And here we have Marty himself, the guy in all his glory. Really, really impressed with the tailoring on this figure and the authentic feel of it feeling like actual clothes, from the jean jacket to the actual jeans themselves, to the shoes. Just look at how wonderfully detailed the tread on the shoes is and how dirty and grimy they are. They're scuffed up. They do a really good job of looking leather. You can see even underneath the pants here, he's got some socks there. Now, funny enough, weirdly, when I was pulling him out of the package, his foot came off and the sock is attached to the shoe. It's a little bit hard to get on, so just be careful with that. But I thought that was really cool. Usually it's like just a slip sock over the actual ankle, but it was actually attached to the shoe, so I thought it was cool. And then just this beautiful head sculpt. I think this looks like him. I don't have the older one, but Hot Toys always improves with their paint apps, and they do a wonderful job with a little bit of blushing here and the skin texture and just the expression on his face. I really love the way Marty looks here. His hair is like that brown look. They got some sculpted detail in there. I don't really see a seam line. I mean, maybe from that angle, I almost thought that was, but it's just done really, really well. His jacket does feel like it has some type of a wire in it, and it does, so you can pose it and do whatever you want with it. It doesn't button up. You can see the suspenders. You can see even a pattern detail in there. I don't think that's magnetic, but I love how that just snaps around and conforms to his body. That makes me really happy. You do get his red undershirt, this button up, some suspenders here. These aren't metallic. They feel cold, so actually I think these are metal, real metal suspenders here, and maybe this piece too. I know the little D-ring there is, and yeah, the little button on his pants, the stitching, the pockets, it does great. Even the stitching on the back pockets as well. I love how they have these cuffed up over the jean jacket. This just gives a very, very 80s look, and I'm super excited to have this guy in my collection. I do want to point out he does have a few pins here, a guitar, what looks like a pick, and an Art and Revolution pen right there to go with that extra detail. The pockets on the jean jacket do open up, and you could put something in there if you wanted. As far as posability goes, his arms do go out. I don't know how much he'd be ranged, a full 90-degree bend on the elbows, so he's not really hindered that much. Not even for crunch, because it is just a fabric shirt. I would be careful you don't untuck it too much, because I'd want this guy to look, as good as possible. He's a young stud. The knees do bend all the way back past 90, and then you do get a rotating ball peg forward and back for the ankle here, which is pretty good. I thought there was a little bit of ratchets. There isn't, so this figure isn't ratcheted. That could be a little concerning. It might just be a carbon copy of the first edition. I don't know. You'll have to let me know down below. But at the end of the day, I'm super happy with how he looks. Alright, that's going to wrap it up for Marty McFly and Einstein from Back to the Future Part 1. I really enjoyed unboxing this figure as it is closely related to human-like features. You get the jeans, the jean jacket, that vest, a book bag, and the sneakers. It's all that retro 80s feel, and I dig it. I even love Einstein. Even though he has that seam line in the neck, once you put that stopwatch around him, I'm sure it will disappear. But like I said, I have a goal of 750. If you guys haven't subscribed yet already, please do so. And if you enjoyed this video, leave a comment down below if you're a fan of Back to the Future, or if you have any of these figures in your collection. As always, like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.